All right, we are live. Kenny Wallace Media, Kenny Wallace YouTube channel. I am Charlie Marlow. There he is, Kenny Wallace. And you see the headline, everybody. And Kenny, the chase is back. The big announcement in Charlotte. NASCAR announces the new playoff/points format. And Kenny, they're going back to the chase, baby.
Listen, I love it. A lot of people say to me, Herman, you used to defend NASCAR and you thought everything was fine. And here's my response, everybody. I thought everything was fine, but you ran over me like a train. And I said, I got on the caboose. Listen, I didn't have any problem. I've always said that I wanted 3 races to determine the championship. But, Mark Martin was right. Charlie, he drove up our driveway. You were here. And Mark Martin had the biggest quote of the year. You need to learn how to debate without being so vicious. So, Charlie, I realized that the fans wanted to go back to the old days. And we did today. And I'm excited because, Charlie, I feel like it's a new beginning. I feel happy because I feel like everybody else is happy.
Yeah, and I watched the announcement. It was about 30 minutes, and you had Mark Martin there, you had Dale Jr., you had Steve O'Donnell, you had Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Briscoe, and they all talked. And Mark Martin, I think he said it best. He wasn't pretending like he got everything he wanted, right? But I think he said it best when he said, this is the perfect compromise or the perfect landing spot. You're never going to make everybody happy. We all know there were very, very loud voices for full season points. I think most people thought that wasn't even ever a real possibility. And they said it started to become a real possibility. But for folks that wanted full season points, for others that still like the playoffs, I just think, look, everybody wins a little bit with this scenario.
Charlie, I agree. And you and I will continue in the next 30 minutes or so to, just keep talking about what has transpired over, my God, it seems like 20 years. We have been in a downfall and we have been fighting. And but listen, today was a big day. And here's why. Because you had the biggest and most famous people in the sport, like Chase Elliott, like Dale Jr., and the most respected driver of them all. He's retired now, but Mark Martin. And they were behind the president, Steve O'Donnell. And they liked this. And listen, there's a lot of good quotes out there. I love the latest one by Dale Jr. He says, this is going to teach these new drivers to drive hard every lap. Season points matter now. No more winning, you're in. You can take it easy. The quotes are already coming out. So Steve O'Donnell has promised me, he said, Herman, I'm going to do everything in my power to get NASCAR back to the way it ought to be. And I got to believe him now after seeing so many things. But once again, the most powerful statement of the day, Charlie, is Mark Martin, Dale Jr., Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, all these drivers, Ryan Blaney, they were all behind NASCAR, and they were all saying, we like this. We approve. So if the fans don't like it, then they can be mad at Dale Jr. and Chase Elliott and Mark Martin.
And it's very early here, but I did put a poll out on the Kenny Wallace Media Twitter. I had checked it. Let me just check it real quick so I can give the up-to-date results. I just said straight up, are you happy with this 10-race chase format? Yes or no? Only 196 votes, so not a ton yet. I'm sure you'll retweet and we'll get more, but still, there you go. 82% yes. Yes. Or now it's 80 still, but 80-20. I mean, if you're making 80% of people happy, Kenny, these days doing anything, I think you're doing a pretty good job.
And I really think the best you can ask for is 50-50. Okay, look here. Let's go to Jeff Gluck. I'm going to retweet that. Jeff Gluck has 4,464 votes. Do you like the new NASCAR championship format? Look at this one. Ours line right with him. There it is, everybody. Over So if you're on the no side, that means you better come up out of your hole. and the reason we bring up Gluck is our Charlie Marlow, the man you're looking at. We're all buddies with Gluck. He helps us, don't he, Charlie?
Yeah, he's been on in the past. I think, Matt Weaver does a lot as well, but Jeff Gluck's doing a lot with Dirty Mo, and he's been on Kenny Conversation for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to retweet Matt Weaver. Okay. Here, let's give everybody another one. Dale Jr. just said playoffs or walk-off wins. Dale Jr. said that's fine. The NASCAR playoff system was designed to create Game 7 moments that mimicked other sports. NASCAR, going back to the chase, no longer will view itself as having playoffs or walk-off wins. But I want to add on to that. Okay, that was, as you in the business would say, Charlie, quote, unquote. I read what Bob Popcraft just wrote here. Here's where I think it gets exciting, though, and a lot of people, we're all figuring this out. We're all looking at it. What about when there's one race to go and somebody's 17th in the points? Now you got Game 7 moments on race 11. Race 20, 25, 20. You see what I'm saying? So, as Mark Martin says, there will be unintended consequences. And the unintended consequences is this will be the first time in a long time we all, with one race to go, we're going to be paying attention to who's 17th in the points? That's a big deal.
Yeah. As this news has come out, I'm kind of thinking about how I feel about it, because I did kind of I like the concept of win to get in, but I think you just said it best with the unintended consequences part. It sounds like a great idea, but then it causes this desperate type racing at the end that I think a lot of people thought was gimmicky, and so many green-white checkers, and it seemed like there were green-white checkers every single race, where I think most people would like to see one every once in a while, but not four, right? You'd see them race after race, and then at the end, sometimes you'd see 2, 3, or 4 of them. So I guess for me, so getting rid of win and you're in, you're going to get rid of the Harrison Burton stories. You're going to get rid of the Austin Dillon type stories. But I will say this, I feel like for a guy like SVG, what did he win? 5 races last year?
5 races.
So, and we kind of talked about this. Maybe I'd be for win 2 and you're in. Like, I do feel like somebody like SVG who wins 5 races, I feel like a guy like that is deserving to make the playoffs and won't make it in this system. But again, you can't please everybody.
And I want to compound on that. So this is a moving target. When you and I say SVG won 5 races last year, he would not be in this playoffs. Let's remember this. And I'm acknowledging this. Where was SVG with 10 races to go? Here's overall what I'm saying. I don't know where he was, but for the most part, he was 20 to something in the points.
Yeah.
I think he ended up 12th, somewhere there. But for the most part, all year long, SVG was, people were upset because they were saying, oh my God, he's won 3 races, but he's 28th in the points. Now, in the end, he did come on. But the bottom line is this. Where was SVG with 10 races to go in 2025? I don't know. But as people say, it's going to be hard to get in with a one-trick pony, as Meme Player says right here. What does he say there, Charlie?
He says, Adobe Meme Player says, no, a champion should be a jack of all trades, not a one-trick pony. And I say that as an SVG fan. And I guess here's where I'll agree. I think it's nice to get in the playoffs. It's a nice feather in your cap, but let's be real. None of these people we're talking about were ever legitimate contenders to win a championship. Like, it was cool that Harrison Burton got in, but then you knew that was it. It was cool that Austin Dillon got in, and then the year before when he wrecked Logano, but you knew he wasn't going to win the championship. And I guess the same with SVG. To me, he was deserving with 5 races winning of getting in the playoffs, but you knew he was never going to actually win the championship. So I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as much as I'm thinking it does.
And here's what you and I underestimated. You and I are sports guys. We are emotional, but these fans were pissed.
Yeah.
They were mad. You and I were like, oh, that's pretty cool. But the fans, like Mark Martin taught me, Mark Martin is the one that changed my mind. These fans were mad that SVG and Harrison Burton and listen, I still think Joey Logano earned that, even though Alex Bowman was light at the scales. He was light. Somebody was going to get in. So when Alex Bowman was light at Charlotte and he was illegal, that put Joey Logano in. But Joey Logano went on to win. So, I thought that was earned. But once again, what I underestimated is how mad the fans were at what our meme players said. They're a one-trick pony. You win a race and you're in. Hell, you could win 5 races now and not be in. It just depends. Are you in the top 16 in the points with 10 races to go? And now, Charlie, people say, well, what happened to stage points? Nothing. It's just you still got a race. It's still totality of points. And it is all year long points. So, Charlie, 10 races. How many months is that? 3?
2.5, 3 months. Yeah.
So, it's all year long points, and listen, 10 races to go, the top 16, it's going to sort itself out. In the end, it's going to be year long points. I've never in history seen anybody come from with 10 races to go, 16 points back. I've never seen anybody come from 17th to the championship with 10 races to go. And if you have, respond right here.
What I find really interesting, I got a couple things, but first off, because you're hearing everything and then you tell me a lot of things. And sometimes we'll do a Kenny conversation. And then after the recording is over, you start to get some inside information that maybe isn't broadcast yet on the real conversation. And I don't know about you, but didn't it seem like a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, didn't it seem like we were going to get a 3 or 4 race finale? It seemed like everybody was talking about that. We had heard things about that. And I just find it interesting that maybe that was initially the plan. And then the full season points crowd really started to pick up speed. And they even went beyond that 3 or 4 race finale to the real compromise, which is the 10 race chase.
Charlie, I'm going to be honest, and I don't think I'm going to get in trouble saying this. I really feel like that lawsuit, that aura, that negative death feel, I think it changed. I think it rattled. I think it rattled the cages. I think everybody realized it. When you looked at the note that Johnny Morris, the owner of Bass Pro, when you looked at the note of Rick Hendrick, Roger Penske, sent to Mr. France, I think it rattled everybody that thought they were somebody. Listen, I knew a lot of people that like, oh, NASCAR is going to be fine, me included. And as this story went on and on and on, and everything came out and out and out, we all were left with our jaws open. I really feel that after the NASCAR lawsuit, now it could have been, this format could have been done before the lawsuit. My opinion, after the lawsuit, I think NASCAR said, we can't chance it. We can't do 3 races. We got to do what Mark Martin wants us to do. We got to do what the fans want us to do. And I think after the lawsuit, it rattled everybody, not just NASCAR, but all of us. We were vulnerable, Charlie. We never realized that all those texts and those emails were going to come out. So it's right now. Everything's right. And before I hand it over to you, I just want to say this, and this is a Darrell Waltrip cliche. It's hard to be mad at your lover too long. It's time to love NASCAR again. My God, it's been one of the worst 20 years in motorsports history. Charlie, you're new to the game, buddy. This has been going on for 20 years.
Yeah. And I don't think, and you can speak better to the past. For me, really the last 4 or 5 years, I've really been paying close attention. But for NASCAR, can you have a worse year where if you're NASCAR, and this is where I agree with you, it's time to forgive and forget if you're me. Like, and here's another thing. If you're a fan and you're pissed, why? You won. If you're a fan and you're pissed, you won in every way imaginable. Okay, maybe you didn't get exactly the 36 full season points, but NASCAR lost in court. They're changing the car. They're changing the format of the playoffs, not just a tweak, drastically. Steve Phelps is gone if you were someone who thought that he should be gone. I think most people realize that it was just kind of unforgivable, even though he did a lot of good things when those came out. As you said, it was something that had to be done. But, and look, I do think the car is still something that we will talk about. I'm not going to focus on that right now. But again, if you're a fan and you're like, I hate NASCAR, what can you be mad about now? Like, you've won 4 or 5 times. NASCAR has taken a beating in every way possible, and they're apologizing. They're on an apology tour to you and saying, like, come back. And we messed up. We're trying to get, Steve O'Donnell said that today, we're trying to get the old hardcore race fan back. They've admitted their mistakes like 5,000 times. At this point, if you're not willing to forgive and forget and give them a chance, then I don't think you ever will be.
I love that. You said that so good. That is one of your greatest quotes of all time. I really, because I'm the same way. I'm like, Jesus, you beat NASCAR down they've been sued. They lost. The president's been fired. I mean, what else do you want? You know, I mean, seriously, it's, yeah. And you're correct. I do want to say, you know, that was one quote by Steve Donald today, but he also said, we are listening to the fans. He made sure that he said that we are listening to the fans. They don't like this playoff system. You know, we're going back. The chase is back. And here's the key about that. When we had the chase, Charlie, everybody loved it. But for some reason, they felt like they needed a bigger moment. And that's when it all went bad. Who would have ever thought that fans would rebel against, as Dale Jr. says, a Game 7 moment? But I do want to add on this. I don't want to be too long-winded, but when I got something on my mind, I want to get it out because sometimes I forget it. Help me along here. I think I'm going to nail it. Let's look at everything that NASCAR has given the fans. Number one, they started with the Hell Yeah commercial. We're going back redneck. The first commercial comes out. The guy is screaming in a bar with Busch beer clearly sitting in the bar saying, what's the big deal about the Daytona 500? So the guy goes, you want to know? I'll tell you. So then, that's the number one. The redneck commercial is back. And it is not insulting our intelligence. We want that back. We want that. Okay. Then number two, they fire Phelps. The fans wanted, now that was an add-on that came later. Then Phelps is gone. Then Ram Trucks, along with Fox, they're bringing reality TV back. They're going to bring back, at 12 noon, I don't know what day, they're going to bring back the Gong Show. And that is exactly what found Kurt Busch. So they're bringing reality TV back. They're going to find a superstar driver to drive one of the Ram trucks. That's what found Kurt Busch, the Gong Show. Oh, my God, look how we found Kurt Busch. Now they're bringing country music back in the NASCAR. They got Miranda Lambert. I don't know what I missed, Charlie. I'm sure I missed something, but NASCAR is just giving up like 5-6 things for the old fans.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's NASCAR giving up. I know you didn't mean it like that, but I just think they've listened. We always say fans, and I think it's funny. It's like YouTube here. We say subscribers. To me, and I'm not trying to make it just all about dollars and cents, but to me, it's also customers. That's a customer. A person who watches all our YouTube videos, that's a customer, and we love them because we couldn't do this without them. NASCAR is $1 billion business. Those fans are customers, and those fans can speak their mind with their wallets, or not showing up to races, or not watching on TV. And we did see there that the ratings weren't great. Now I know they went to some streaming stuff, so it wasn't exactly apples to apples, but the ratings weren't great for the playoffs. And then here's what I think. Here's where I think it really, really hit home in terms of the playoffs and the points. I agree that Joey Logano was deserving last year, but the fact that he got in after a pretty mediocre regular season pissed a lot of people off. But then he went off. I mean, he was clutch. I know people joke about the lights are the brightest thing, but then I also think just the way it ended this year, even though we all know, if you look at the stats, that Kyle Larson was a deserving champ, it sure felt like, and I was rooting for Denny, but it sure felt like Denny Hamlin got absolutely robbed. And so the legitimacy of the sport in terms of determining a championship was being legitimately questioned. And you can't have that. Like, you can say anything you want about the college football playoffs or the NFL, like maybe there should be 8 teams or 12, whatever. But at the end of the day, then they all play each other and somebody wins. You don't really ever hear anybody question the NCAA tournament basketball champ. They've won 6 games. You don't hear anybody question a lot of these championships. When people are also questioning your champion, that is not good. And that was obviously happened in the last couple of years.
I bet the fans will start cheering Denny Hamlin like NASCAR. I don't know how he can beat anybody down anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
NASCAR should be cheered. Denny Hamlin should be cheered. I mean, what Denny Hamlin himself was a reality show. He wore his emotions on his sleeves. And he said, I'm ready to win the championship. This is the last year of my dad's life. He's within 2 laps of win. I mean, you talk about heartbreak. You got to be a sorry SOB to wish Denny Hamlin any bad luck moving forward. Think about how brave he's been. He's got that actions detrimental. He has helped save the sport by saying what he feels. Like it or not, the lawsuit that he was part of, the drivers, the teams are going to receive more money. Teams are worth something now. They got a full-time charter system. It's better because of Denny Hamlin. And now he loses his father in a horrific, fire. But I mean, everybody's exhausted. Everybody's beat down. This was one of the greatest matches. I mean, just a cage fight. You know what I mean? A total cage fight. Everybody's exhausted. So, okay, Charlie, can I just, let's take a deep breath. Can I announce the points? How it's very simple.
Yeah, go ahead.
I already told you. All right, everybody, let's just a deep breath, clear the air. We've already said what we feel. We're going to make this real simple, everybody. This is not confusing. That's another good one, Charlie, right there. This is not confusing. We go 26 races, and then we go 10, and that's the champion. Okay, number 1, what do we do with the stages? Nothing. You accumulate points. So stage racing is stage racing. I like it. Go take a pee, make yourself a sandwich. You know when the pit stop is coming. That is nothing wrong with that. So stage racing, you still accumulate points. All right. We go 26 races. And there's a leader. That leader, when we go into the 10 race chase for the championship, not a playoff. When we go into the chase for the championship, first place is going to be given 2,100 points. 2,100, 2,100 points. He is going to have a 25-point advantage over second. Second is going to have 2,075. That's a 25-point advantage. Third is going to have a 10-point advantage. Then it's 5-point increments all the way down. So it's very simple. Very simple. Uh, and that's that. There's no other nothing for anything else. Charlie, what could somebody be confused with?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's confused. And I think it was Steve O'Donnell who said during the press conference, he said Ryan McGee of ESPN, I guess during the committee, said something like, look, you got to be able to get on an elevator and go up 20 floors with somebody and explain the format. And what you just did, it's easy. 26 races, boom, reset, 10 races, champion. Before it was like playoff points, and then it resets, and then it resets again, and then 3 drivers fall off. And yeah, it was very, very confusing. I did kind of like the elimination style because I felt like the cutoff races were more exciting, but also dudes will eliminate themselves, right? In the last 10 races, there's going to be a couple races and it's like, okay, now this guy has no chance. So I think that's going to happen through attrition also. It's going to happen kind of organically.
I'll stay my lane right here, and then I do want to come back to that. For the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, listen, everybody, it's 12 drivers for 9 races. Simple. For the O'Reilly Auto Parts, it's 12 drivers for 9 races. For the Craftsman Truck Series, it's 10 drivers for 7 races. Okay. Now I want to go back to what you just said. We had this other situation that came up at the end of the year where Formula One, the champion won by 2 points over Max Verstappen. And everybody's like, look, they did all year long and the guy only won by 2 points. So, man, it just seems like there was timing and circumstances going on. NASCAR was taking a beating even at the end of the year by these other series. And then I guess there was something bad for the V8 Super Series that they did a NASCAR type thing, and it did not turn out good. Same thing with Lucas Oil late models, where it was between Ricky Thornton and Devin Moran, and Devin Moran won it on the last race. And now everybody, even the Lucas Oil late models, before NASCAR, they said, screw it. We're going back to normal points. So I do want to add on to what you said, that it just seemed like everything was not falling in NASCAR's way at the end of last year.
Yeah, and I think also we should mention, because you were talking a little bit about the lower series, we're always so focused on the Cup Series, but this whole championship playoff format, it also really reared its ugly head in a way in the lower 2 series. Remember, if Corey Haim, who had an unbelievably dominant season, a season where in any other year you're like, this dude is just, he should be the champ. He totally deserves it. But then he had to make that final couple lap restart move just to win because of this format. And then the same deal with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Now this one really reared its ugly head because Connor Zilisch won 1 million races this year. He was by far the deserving champ. In any other year, you would say Connor Zilisch, he should be the champ. And he did not end up being the champion because of the playoff format. And I think that also added to just the idea, maybe illegitimate is not a fair word, but just it's not the best way to crown your champions. And this should be a much better way.
And I forgot about that. There was 2 heartbreaks, wasn't there? The truck deal ended up okay on Friday night.
Yeah.
And then Connor Zilisch, what did he win? 10 races or something. And yeah. Okay. I'm addressing social media. There are a couple people telling me that I was wrong. Sorry, Kenny. He would have made the chase last year and would have ended 15th. Those 60 points extra for winning is what would have put him in the chase. That's fine. I'm not even going to respond. They know what the hell I meant. I don't mind fighting. I don't fight anymore. Have you noticed that?
Well, I noticed you're not swearing. I noticed you're not swearing much.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm sure there will be times. There's a group of people out there that understand cussing's part of the game, but I've heard it all.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Fighting on X, on Twitter, it's really just useless. I've realized this too. I just think sometimes you're dealing with
Let them go.
bots and professional just agitators and people that are depressed, and they don't even have their name or their picture up there, and they're just in there just wanting to be dicks, basically.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And we've learned, haven't we? You know, it don't
Yeah.
take anything. The guy that's talking crap, just push on him his name. 13 followers,
Yeah.
no picture, go to photos, no photos. It's like, you know, okay, this just, you know, this guy is depressed. Okay, another one, Charlie, as we're rolling here. This is from Dustin Long. Mark Martin admits this format won't be enough for some, but said is the best possible scenario you could ever ask for. Everyone wins with this format. Fans win. They were heard. That goes back to what you said, that, listen, the fans won. You
Yes.
all won.
Mm-hmm.
You guys won. The fans won. You got rid of Phelps. You got your new points format. You got your redneck ways back. And then he says the drivers at teams NASCAR wins. You can't always have, and you've already said that. But I just like that, you know, that was another full-length comment by Mark Martin that, you know, and I think this is something that the fans need to remember. You all won.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a 3-race, you know, format. And when we had this chase for the championship, everybody loved it. Nobody complained about it. And that is the format that Kurt Busch won when his right front tire fell off and went down the racetrack. And they're like, we got to throw the caution because Kurt Busch's tire is on the racetrack. He had to finish 10th or better, and he rode along. He rode along right there like 8th or 10th. And I mean, buddy, it was nerve-wracking. And everybody was waiting, will Kurt Busch's right front fall off again? But that was the one. But yeah, the chase is back, everybody. And I'm just doing like you're doing. I'm scrolling social media. Christopher Bell is down at the Chili Bowl. And so the Chili Bowl is this is the first night for the Chili Bowl. We got Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell down there. 47 minutes ago, Bob Pockras, he's already on the damn San Diego. Check NASCAR today on rules for San Diego. Any full-time driver can only race in the series the driver is getting points in. See unintended consequences. Part-time drivers can run in multiple series. Jimmy Johnson, he's locked into he's locked in the Daytona 500 because he was a past champion. What else you got, Charlie?
Well, I also like, as you're talking about Mark Martin at the end, it might have been the last comment. I thought it was kind of funny. He was asked a question. It was right towards the end. And he said something along the lines of, he basically said, look, I still in my heart of hearts want the full season points. But he said, it's much easier to go from a 10 race chase to a full season points than it is to a 3 or 4 race to full season. And he kind of laughed and he said, and that's not them saying this, that's me. And like Steve O'Donnell kind of laughed. So I think, but I agree with that. Hopefully this works. Hopefully everybody likes it. But whatever, 4 or 5 years from now, by going to this compromise, I do think it opens up the door that if people don't love it and if TV doesn't love it in 5 years, maybe we actually will get the full season points 5 years from now. But change usually doesn't happen all at once. So if you're a full season points fan, I would be excited that your voice was heard and that you have a bigger chance of getting that in the future now. That's on the table, legitimately.
Yeah, because right now, I'm going back to what you said about halfway through the show. How do these points work? It's like, sit down.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was. Listen, you and I are sportsters. We didn't mind it because we knew what was up. But if you're going to gain a casual fan and you can't explain to them what's going on quickly, I mean, hey, listen, on that concept, I was listening to something on Netflix, and it's always been true, but the attention span for not just young people, but a lot of people nowadays, is maybe 12 seconds. When you're
Mhm.
scrolling, if something don't grab you, you won't give it 6 to 10 seconds.
Yep.
And if you don't accept social media, you're on an island by yourself. You go back to what Kyle Larson said. Kyle Larson said, Rick Hendrick is sending me TikTok videos of sprint cars flipping all the time because Rick Hendrick did not want Kyle Larson running sprint cars. But who knew? And then we find out that Jeff Gordon goes, I thought Kenny Wallace was making TikToks. Well, come to find out, is it you, Charlie? I don't even have TikTok. So it's you, Charlie, doing all it. Is that you doing my TikToks?
Well, yeah, the account I think says either Charlie Marlow or Charlie Marlow Media, but I put the same stuff that we put on
Yeah.
X and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, so it's just the reels. Yeah, TikTok is an interesting platform. Yeah, TikTok has even a shorter attention span than any of them.
Yeah. So I mean, the point is that when you try to explain the point system to those type of people, if you couldn't explain it to them in 15 seconds, they were out.
Yeah.
And who would have known? Once again, back to Mark Martin, unintended consequences. If you can't explain points to me in a minute, I'm out. But a minute is a long time.
Yeah, and another thing is, getting back to the TV ratings, I feel like, and I've said this, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but I think the fans made their voices heard. I don't think they make this change. If NASCAR gets to the playoff races and all of a sudden you see a big increase in the TV ratings and you see a lot more people into it on the views, on social media and the impressions and all that, they probably don't make a change like this. But look, you can't have both things happen. You can't have low TV ratings and the fans pissed at the format. Then you have to change. And so they changed.
Charlie, I know you're the boss, but I think we beat this
I
like a
agree.
dead. I think we beat this like a dead horse. And I feel better now though, because I know more. And it was nice to talk with all the fans. Thank you, everybody. I see you scrolling there. And Charlie, I think you and I are smarter now. Oh, dude.
Should we end on a Jake break?
Sure. I'm
No,
making
go
sure I
ahead.
got
Finish your thought first.
well, no, I just really think that, when you and I talked, of course, I was having fun with Coffee with Kenny, doing a little show. I know everything, but I did.
Mhm.
I did know everything. And I was told 2 weeks ago what was going to happen. And I'm like, they're trying to tease us. I bet they might get, they never did. I did know what was going to happen 2 weeks ago. I thought they might change it. They didn't. But then it's like, well, what is the chase for the championship? Well, let me remind you, and because it was a long time ago. And it's kind of like the Beatles, what's these kids are coming back with these damn haircuts like the Beatles used to, the hair's down in front of their faces. Like, what the
Mhm.
hell? Oh, the
The
Beatles
bangs.
used to do that. Yeah. So what's old is new again. And aren't you smarter right now? We understand it, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're mad at NASCAR still, then I don't think you'll ever forgive them because
Ever.
they're taking a beating and you've won in every way almost imaginable, and they're apologizing and they're like, "Hey, just give us a second chance and let's try to make it right."
Okay, here we go, everybody. I think I got enough saliva in the back of my throat. Let's do it old school way. Hold on.
There it is. There it is. All right. On that note, Charlie Marlow, Kenny Wallace, thank you all for watching. We got a 10 race chase. Can't wait. All right. See you, everybody. End stream.